where bad ideas get pulverized and the truth will set you free. Trentovision is hosted by Tom Trento, an activist street fighter with earned degrees in law enforcement, theology, and philosophy. Listen and watch every weekday on AM 1470 WNN and Trentovision.com. Now, let's take a peek at Tom's view of the world. Here's Tom Trento.
Ambassador Chris Stevens, Sean Smith, Tyrone Woods, Glenn Darty. Let me say those names one more time. Ambassador Chris Stevens, Tyrone Woods, Sean Smith, and Glenn Darty. The four of those men are dead because President Obama wanted to get reelected. Listen very carefully to what I'm saying. The analysis is in, the facts are on the table. You can clearly evaluate and understand, or you can bury your head in the sand. Ambassador Chris Stevens, Sean Smith, Tyrone Wood, and Glenn Darty are dead because this president wants to get reelected. You see, in the 52 days since the attack, a tremendous amount of intelligence, of information, of factual data has been discovered and revealed by news agencies and independent investigators. And this administration, President Obama, Hillary Clinton, Secretary of State, and now Leon Panetta, are changing the story, spinning the facts, and covering for the simple, black and white, as clear as could be fact that no help was provided, no preliminary military or protective consideration was given going into 9/11, and this administration is in a free fall, in a cover-up, the likes of which, ladies and gentlemen, we have not seen in many years. Just today, sources on the ground, sources who were there 52 days ago, are revealing new information, and it's heartbreaking, absolutely disturbing information that anyone who claims to be an American can possibly consider. That in this 7-hour battle, this terrorist attack, coordinated, calibrated, configured attack by jihadi groups attached to or part of Al-Qaeda, over 7 hours, in 2 facilities a mile apart, coordinated. This situation now, those on the ground who were there say, those who were under attack called for help through secure communication transmission systems that went directly to the Situation Room in the White House. In fact, these secure communication systems in the CIA annex, which was 1 mile from the consulate where Ambassador Chris Stevens and Sean Smith were, the CIA annex building 1 mile away from the initial building under attack, had full working secure communication systems And the CIA operatives and some of the SEALs were calling for military assistance, and at least two times, quick response forces were told to stand down, do not go and increase the chaos, do not go and exacerbate the problem. There were calls for, and this was mentioned by our good friend Gary Bernson on CBS News a week ago, there were calls for a Spectre C-130, A-130 actually, an attack 130 gunship, which was about an hour and a half away. And that gunship was not deployed. There was significant, lethal American military Tier 1 is SEAL Team 6 or Delta Forces or other operatives we have that don't even have names yet. Tier 1 forces were ready to deploy and go in and rescue Ambassador Stevens. These are real people with real names, with real families. Ambassador Stevens and Sean Smith and Glenn Darty and Tyrone Woods, real human beings under fire asking for help. And this administration is complicit in the effect of the cause of their death. Why? Because from a political calibration, if you put political calculus together, the last thing this administration wanted to do was to upset two demographics that would hurt President Obama's re-election campaign. This administration did not want to upset Muslims worldwide, particularly the Muslims in Northern Africa, in the Maghreb, in the Middle East. And this administration did not want to upset Democrats in the United States of America. And an increase in the jewel of the foreign policy of the Obama administration, the liberation of Libya by killing Gaddafi, an increase in any sort of military activity in that country would contradict the narrative coming out of the White House, would contradict the great claims of this administration in freeing the Libyans, would contradict the fact and the reality of the true situation that existed on the ground. And if indeed there was increased battle, if we sent our folks in to save American lives and we killed a lot of Muslim jihadis and tore up the place, doesn't go well for the Obama White House PR, particularly in their re-election campaign. 52 days ago, when on that day, this president chose, instead of managing the death situation of his servants, people committed to serving this country, he jumps in his airplane and flies to Vegas to raise some money and party and campaign. Ladies and gentlemen, if you do not see the facts as they are being laid out right now over these 52 days, if you are not aware of the cover-up of this administration in light of the deaths of these four wonderful Americans, if you are so small in your thinking or so narrow in your politic that your concern for Obamacare or abortion or one of these other issues supersedes the fact of America's failure in foreign policy, national security, then you are most of all an individual to be pitied, to be absolutely pitied these 11 days from casting a vote for who will lead this country into a dangerous and deadly world, as we've seen 52 days ago. This administration has blood on its hands for not properly, and you, Leon Panetta, you did a good thing overriding Obama's hesitancy and resistance to go after Osama bin Laden and working around him. You failed yesterday when you claim the fog of war and the immediate elements of the situation did not necessitate an increase in the gravity of the lethality of American military capability to save Americans. You failed yesterday, Leon Panetta. You ought to, if you're a decent man, recognize your failure and resign. And you, Hillary Clinton, we know you're fighting with your husband. He wants you to come clean and show that you didn't have the part that everybody thinks you had in this situation. You need to leave also. And you, President Obama, how could you stand before Americans after taking an oath to defend this Constitution from all enemies, foreign and domestic? And you're not defending a piece of paper. And you're not defending just principles. You're defending people that believe in those principles and put their life on the line. And if you're too busy to read the intelligence reports that clearly established months before that Libya was a tribal, chaotic, jihad war ground, and that all hell was breaking loose, and that the consul and the embassy had been under severe attacks, and that day, that 9/11 day, was looming greatly. If you did not have the foreknowledge and forethought to capably solidify, harden, and equip your committed Americans to stand strong on that day, and you fly off to play, you should not, you find some self-respect and recognize you failed and step aside. And for anybody to declare that a stupid movie caused all, the movie's still playing on YouTube. Google has refused to shut the movie down, folks. Where's the Muslim atrocity and outrage? The movie's playing right now all over the place. Why aren't Muslims going nuts, tearing up places right this second if this movie was the causal agent of the attack in Benghazi? That's nonsense. This was a coordinated terrorist attack against sovereign U.S. property, and this administration failed. And today, people came forth to declare and lay out the fact that calls were made, help was requested, help was denied, and you have blood on your hands, President Obama. I'm not a happy camper today after reading this stuff, ladies and gentlemen. But hello, welcome to Trento Vision on this 26th day of October, Friday, and just 11 days before the election. And as you know, we deal with national security issues, foreign policy issues. This is extremely disturbing news, and we have been tracking this very carefully. And we didn't fall off in the theme of the month. We didn't fall off a pumpkin truck and fall into the studio. Our background is national security. I'm one of the authors of Sharia: The Threat to America, with some extremely distinguished national security experts, with Jerry Boykin, a good friend and colleague of mine, who was the head of Delta Force for 30 years, with Ace Lyons, the head of the Pacific Fleet, with Jim Woolsey, the head of the CIA, with Andy McCarthy, the prosecutor from Southern New York who put the blind sheikh in jail. And as we dig more, so we know of what we speak. Claire Lopez, our good friend, 20 years in the CIA. Clearly, Claire understands what's going on. So we bring to the table, to this radio show, to this internet broadcast, factual information, and it's not happy information. We're Americans. We don't want to see our administration have blood on their hands, but they do. And just listen to Tyrone Wood's dad as he's making the rounds, and we're going to try to get him on this show, when he walked up and spoke with Hillary Clinton, when he went up to Joe Biden, and Joe Biden said to him, "It's reported," as Joe Biden is walking to meet Mr. Woods. "Hey," Joe Biden said, "it's reported in the news now. Hey, how long has your son had balls as big as cue balls?" That's how he was introduced to Joe Biden.
That's really, truly revolting.
No, and so, look, we're not happy today with all of this stuff, and no one should be happy. But that dissatisfaction with this administration and that anger, and it's a righteous anger because things were done that were wrong. When something's done that's wrong, it's right to be angry at that. It's a righteous indignation. This righteous indignation that many of you out there are feeling ought to be funneled over the next 11 days to work your asses off to defeat this administration because they have failed to such a degree they need to be removed. Forget about the economy. Just on that, they need to be moved out of the picture as the Sun Sentinel. The Sun Sentinel, oh my God, today, the Fort Lauderdale leftist Sun Sentinel endorsed Mitt Romney because of economic issues. Well, we're saying this president, based upon his failure, with the deaths of Ambassador Chris Stevens, Sean Smith, Tyrone Woods, and Glenn Darty, this president needs to step aside. It's that simple. It's your job, America, to push that lever, to have him step aside. Because you know what? Once you experience the royalty of being the most powerful man in the world, and combine that with a pathological narcissistic disorder that this president has, combine that with an insecure personality, and put an individual like that in a position of power and strength, you do not want to forsake that position. And you will do anything to retain it. But for good Americans pushing levers in 11 days, we can win this thing. Thank you very much. Hello, everybody. Tom Trento. Hi, Mark. Hi, CJ. How are you guys today?
Hello.
Well,
CJ,
good
your
grief.
quick thoughts on my anger here.
Well, I think it's well placed. I think it's a long time coming. Of course, you've not been quiet about your anger. There's been a lot. There's been a lot of reasons to have some for a very long time, and
No, this is just the icing on the cake.
this is bigger than Iran-Contra and Watergate rolled up into one. I think.
Well, this is the biggest thing ever.
I think that the people involved here are accessories to murder, and isn't a consulate considered to be U.S. soil? And if it is, then these people are accessories to murder in U.S. courts. Also, this is treason, and it's not a misdemeanor; it's a high crime. And
Mark is our
Let me,
disembodied voice. Go ahead.
Let me try to put this a little bit into perspective
Is
here.
CJ on
No,
let's go.
I'm on you. I'm actually going to do something else here.
Okay.
I got some visuals for you who are online. What actually happened? The terrorist attack occurred at the compound. There was the emergency signal immediately went out. Chris Stevens went into, as you're going to be seeing here on the screen, went into a secure bunker area, as you can see on the screen right now. The secure bunker area, it's basically a steel door, locked, trapped in, and it's a room. It's like a safe room.
Hang on one second. For the listening audience, there's a visual up. By the way, ladies and gentlemen, we're simulcasting. If you can freeze that for a second, that's pretty good video. We're simulcasting. That means we're on the radio, WNN 1470, 50,000 watts out of Boca Raton. But we also have a camera set up, and we're live streaming this show over TrentoVision.tv. So whenever there's video up that doesn't have audio, we'll tell you listeners what's going on there. And we try to put video up that also has an audio track. Does this have an audio track, this piece?
Yeah, it does. He's actually going out throughout there.
Can we put that up too?
Yeah, but I want to explain something
good.
first before we go into that, because it's quite important. Because to understand what actually occurred, this, as you see on the screen, is basically a cell door, and it's a safe house. It's an emergency room. You saw the movie with it's a safe room, and all it's meant to do, it's not meant to stop the attackers from getting in. It's meant as a delay broadcast, a delay tactic. So when you call in for the emergency alert and you say, "Hey guys, come rescue me! The jihadis are after us." All right, that's the whole reason this room is here. It is simply a delaying tactic. Now, this particular system did work. It delayed the jihadis from getting in there for about 2.5 hours. So what did they do? The jihadis took gasoline, threw it in there.
That's right.
Burnt the place down.
And
Yeah.
they
They
burnt
smoked
place-
him out.
They,
No, they smoked
They were
him
trying to
out.
smoke him out. They couldn't get
Yeah.
into the safe room where Ambassador Stevens was, or his partners, and they're literally smoking him out. And so, while Obama is sitting there thinking about what to do, thinking about his political consequences, Ambassador Stevens is sitting there choking to death by smoke inhalation for not a half hour, for not an hour, for not 2 hours, for not 3 hours, for 4 hours. He's laying on the floor choking to death.
Yep.
And then they finally broke in there and they drug him out.
And
then
what did they do?
Then they raped and sodomized him with sticks. All the while, that rescue force could have been there
Yep.
within
And then
those
they
2 hour
dragged
periods.
his body through the streets.
But then they dragged his body through the streets.
Yep.
I mean, this is abhorrent. If you are not outraged by President Obama's lack of response in this issue, you're not a human being.
He went to sleep, and then he woke up the next day
He went to
and
bed.
hopped a flight to Las Vegas for a fundraiser
I mean, I'm shaking. I'm
and
so
sent
mad.
out
It's
the
bad.
officials of his administration to lie about what he
What
knew
do we
what
have
was
to do?
going on, and to say that it was a video that sparked a protest, and that's it. Well, do you know what? Let's just say it was a video that sparked what
It doesn't
happened.
matter. It doesn't
Does
stop.
that mean
Well,
that
let me
we?
hear.
Does that mean that we don't send military assistance to our people on the ground because it's
Good
because of a
point.
video?
Yep, good point. This is bad.
I'm shaking.
Now,
I'm so
now what
mad.
this does,
Shaking.
let me put this into perspective. If we can pull out of that, because
Yeah, I'm
there's a
sorry, I'm
picture
sorry, I'm sorry.
of Chris Stevens on there.
If you read these cables and these emails that go back over a year before the attack, of everybody trying to be as diplomatic as possible to each other, but screaming, "It's all falling apart! It's all falling apart! We need help!"
And FYI, I could care less whether this was Clinton, Bush, even Reagan. If Reagan would have done this, I would be as outraged and as incensed.
It doesn't
This
matter who it is.
supersedes
It
politics.
supersedes
This
politics
is above
way-
politics.
Right.
But having superseded politics, it's consistent with the politic of this administration and
Exactly.
this president, who we all know. I mean, we've done intelligence studies and briefings, our Team B2 folks, myself, on the president, who he is, what his beliefs are, his academic background, his anti-colonialist view. That's what he's all about. That's not strange. And he wants to make sure America doesn't exert its superpower and financial capability, which offends other nations and then makes us become a bad guy and causes wars. So we are the beneficiary now, 4 years of an Alinsky, a Saul Alinsky, take from the haves, give to the have-nots politics.
The foreign policy
Yeah.
of this administration is to weaken America's presence around the world, and it is a policy of relentless appeasement.
Yes,
That's
it
the
is.
phrase, relentless
And
appeasement.
there's another element. If we can get to, I don't see
We
anything.
do
on
have
it. If we
some
can get to a
calls, by the way,
two-shot.
just so you know.
Okay, if we can get to a
call.
two-shot there. The taking a step back, we have a, let me tell you,
Gosh, I mean, where do you start? I mean,
we've entitled this Stormy Activist Friday, and I have my stormy shirt on today with the palm trees blowing in the wind here, and we're sitting 5 stories up in Boca Raton at WNN 1470 on October 26th. It's about 26 after the hour, 3:26 here on the East Coast. 12:26 for all of our good friends in California. We have more and more listening out there. We are Tom Trento, Trento Vision, CJ to my left, your right on screen, and the disembodied voice is Mark Campbell.
AKA God.
Yeah,
sitting on the
yeah.
floor in his socks, in case you're interested to know.
That's
It's
what I
actually
smell.
really cute.
I thought the studio had a dead rat in here. I didn't know
Welcome
that.
Hey,
to-
they're new
this is
socks.
like,
They're clean socks.
I
Come
see
on.
It's like a
nothing
little
on the-
frat house here. I feel like the little sister in a frat house.
I see nothing on the screen. There's nothing floating on my screen. Is there something going?
There's something going.
Okay, let me refresh. Taking a quick step back, and we're not doing Benghazi today. We're going to do Benghazi next week. In fact, over the weekend on Saturday, 1 o'clock, and then Sunday, I think, at 3 p.m. Fox News, Brett Baer is doing an extended investigation into Benghazi called Death and Deception. Okay, now, you could hate Fox, but they are doing phenomenal investigative work. I mean, they're doing Pulitzer Prize investigative work on this issue. And we happen to know some of the people that are actually sticking their necks
That's
out
right.
doing this work.
Yes.
So taking a step back, though, when this administration wanted to to provide support to assist the rebels overthrow Gaddafi, every significant military intelligence expert that I know that I spoke with, which are many, to get some sort of guidance on all of this, people that have fought in these theaters said, oh my God, you can't think of a worse idea than removing Gaddafi.
Right.
He may be bad and all of that stuff, and he may have American blood on his hands, but
Yeah.
he is suppressing the jihad savages who will have so much American blood on their hands that it'll be unconscionable. No, you don't disrupt that mess. You leave it like that. You wait for a transfer of power with his kids, and it takes generations for dictatorships to transition into some other form. But when you break this stuff through, if the citizens are jihadis, if the citizens of a dictator are Westerners that are being suppressed by an evil dictator, it's a different story. But when you don't have a Western context from which to build a body politic,
That's
you're
right.
going to move toward Sharia law, you got this craziness. So they said, number one, just from a purely political and philosophical point of view, they being the experts talking to me a year and a half ago, said no, Gaddafi stays there. He's the warden of a very bad, very nasty prison. Number two, they said if anybody's going in there, if this administration wants to go in and liberate, it was funny, liberate Libya, which Gaddafi used to be a friend of the president's, by the way, early in his administration, but if somehow he now wants to liberate it, somebody's got to take care of 20,000 man pads. 20,000 man pads.
And where did they go?
What's a man pad, Tom?
A man pad is an acronym, man for a man, a human being, PAD, Portable Air Defense System, PADS, where a man can put a portable air defense system on his shoulder. They're SAMs. They're surface to air, SAM, surface to air shoulder fired missiles. Gaddafi had 20,000 of them. They're effective up to about 25,000 feet. So any low-flying helicopter or aircraft can be shot out of the sky. Once Gaddafi was killed, his vault of man pads was opened up, and guess what? I will guarantee you U.S. aircraft are going to come down, probably in the Middle East, certainly in Europe, and then in America, because these weapons now are extremely effective, and they are out in the marketplace. And guess what? Glenn Darty and Tyrone Woods and other Tier 1 guys were, now they were out of the SEALs, the two that are dead,
That's
and
right.
they were, as happens a lot, they were brought back in by the agency to do some work for the agency, the CIA, and one of the jobs, them and others, was to go find these nasty things and either buy them back or steal them or whatever they had to do to get control of these very dangerous weapons. And there's a whole nother sub-story as to what's going on with those weapons.
Yes.
But they're loose right now, the man pads. And a year and a half ago, my advisors were saying, if we go into Libya, we got to go in heavy, and we got to get those weapons and take them out of the hands of those people. And this isn't nice. But if you want to get rid of Gaddafi, who's controlling it, somebody's got to protect the American people and the Westerners, because that's going to be the target of the man pads. And guess what? It's the target of. And guess what? Have you seen helicopters and planes being shot down in Syria lately? Guess
Yeah.
how they're being shot down?
That's right.
Libya man pads.
That's right. And by the
Okay.
way, why would you want to take down the guy who already shut down his nuclear program? And possibly have somebody in there who's going to ratchet it back up again.
Because you have to, when you're an anti-colonialist who's anti-military, you have to have some sort of cred in order to fake out Americans to think you're a great commander-in-chief. So a little 6 million people country, a little nothing, knock it off, everything will be okay, and all hell is breaking loose. Kind of backfired President Obama, didn't it? You should be. Let's
Where's the
move on.
Pentagon in all this? Because don't we have a policy when we're in a country and getting ready to leave a country of cataloging and
Yes.
storing the weapons
Yeah, there's
that we take out with us?
There's on your screen now, for those of you watching, there was a picture of the man pads, MANPADS, and man pads is even a singular man pads because it's man portable air defense system. So
Yes.
one is a pads, not in plural.
Padses.
Padses. There they are on your screen right now. Two lovely looking jihadis holding these things.
And
on
they're
their
not
shoulder.
covering their faces because
Yeah, right.
they don't want to be identified, are they?
So in any event,
And
we're
they're
not,
very lethal. Those things are extremely lethal.
Yeah, they and there's 4 or 5 guidance systems. They're bad. They're very, very bad. We're not doing Benghazi today. We will let this play out over the weekend, and we'll pick it up then. Today, though, is Stormy Activist Friday for all of our listeners and viewers. As you know, we are dedicated to the defeat of President Obama from a national security perspective. We are not fair and balanced here at Trento Vision. We're advocates for a particular position called United States of America. Okay, that's our position. And we believe in the exceptionalism that we are better than other countries. I don't know how many times I've spoken to the loony left people and the isms and all of these people, and I'd say, okay, you hate America. What country would you like to live in? I mean, where would you like to go spend? I usually say, what Islamic country, if you had to live the rest of your life, would you like to go in? And they go, I don't know. Yeah, I wouldn't. None. Okay,
No.
What other country then? Oh, Sweden. Sweden's great. They all like Sweden and Norway for some reason. And they went there for 5 minutes, they'd freeze and leave there. America is exceptional. We're better than other countries for a lot of reasons. But that's what we do, Trento Vision. We defend the exceptionalism of the United States of America. And when a president, or when an individual assumes the position of president and occupies that sacred seat, in many respects it's truly sacred, at 1600 Pennsylvania Avenue, and they don't have the view that America is exceptional, what is that all about? How does somebody that goes around apologizing for America and recognizing and concluding that America has been so bad in the past that it has to make some sort of
Atonement.
some sort of atonement globally, how does that person get into a position of running the country? What is that all about? That should be a Harvard professor, not the president of the United States, or a newspaper editor of the Sun Sentinel, maybe. Oh wait, the Sun Sentinel has lost its mind. Mark, what did they do today?
Well, the Sun Sentinel actually came out and let me see, who did they endorse last time? Who was that? Oh, that's right. They endorsed Obama 4 years ago, and they're a very leftist paper. And who did they endorse this year? Mitt Romney.
Mitt Romney.
Just today. You
Well,
know what?
that
We're
answers
going to
the-
hold that. We're going to hold that
You
to
wanna
the
hold it, or-
to the
'cause
second
I-
hour. In the second hour,
Okay.
we're going to go through the newspapers, some of the key newspapers in America, and see who they are endorsing. You loyal, faithful viewers and watchers, you're going to be surprised. But we have anybody? What are we doing?
Well, we
Okay.
got called,
What are we doing?
The lines are all lit up. We're out
Well,
of
the
lines.
lines,
Wacky-
the lines were lit up, but,
Yeah,
but they,
I'm off on a ranting, raving.
Yeah.
Okay.
I don't like dead Americans. Okay,
I know. Especially, never mind.
Yeah.
okay.
You
Well,
re-
I tell
you
you
wanna
what,
take a call
I'll
or
tell
what,
you
Tom?
guys one thing though. In 2008,
Well, what are you going to say?
in 2008, nobody really knew who Barack Obama was. He was just a fresh face on the scene. And the media didn't really go into his background or his beliefs or anything else. So you almost can't blame the American people for voting for something different, especially, let's just give them a pass in 2008 and say, okay, you didn't know better.
Didn't know better.
But
right.
now you do.
You know
Okay?
better.
Now you
you
know
know better. You know better on the economy. You know better in foreign policy. You know better in America's position in the world. You know what's going on in your own house.
But we gotta have
There's
abortion.
no
We gotta have
excuse.
abortion.
You have no excuse. This is willful ignorance if
Yeah.
you are not voting correctly.
Okay.
And do we have,
Do you want to take a call?
did you want to take a quick call?
Yeah. We'll take calls. Hey,
right.
today we're going to take calls. It's 888-565-1470. You can rant and rave like I have been, but you better make sense. And who's on the line?
Who do we have?
Anybody. Put anybody on. We'll talk to anybody
Put
here.
on Neil, okay?
Put on
Okay.
Neil. Put on Neil.
Hey, Neil, how are you? You're with Tom, Trento, CJ, and Mark. How you doing?
Okay, good afternoon. I'm calling from California.
Thanks for your patience,
Thanks for
Neil.
your patience, Neil. Sorry we are on a rant.
I'm a former Army aviation veteran officer, and I am shaking like you folks. You know, I was in service back in the 60s, and we had standard operating procedure to respond to a crisis without orders. Now, I keep hearing it said that the administration did nothing. They stood by while they were watching videos of this thing going down. In fact, they did do something. They gave orders not to do anything. That is treason.
That's right.
Now, I am so concerned with this that I've created a sign that I think people should start carrying around. And it says Obama's orders to stand down and not respond to the attack in progress in Benghazi is treason. Therefore, voting for a known traitor is itself an act of treason. So anybody who's thinking of voting for this person who hasn't done it in advance, as Obama has done. Obama himself just went and voted for himself. He's committed another act of treason.
That's a good point.
I'm shaken about this thing, and unless this thing comes to justice, the only
How do you think
thing
it
that I
could
have-
come to justice?
the only thing we have in favor of our side in this is that Mitt Romney has just put 350 general and flag officers on staff as an advisory council. They're all retired, but
Oh,
some
okay.
of them.
I didn't know
I
that.
didn't know that.
I never heard that.
Yes, you'll find it on his website. It's an announcement 2 days ago. 350 general officers. One is Conway, Marine Corps General, and Lieutenant General McInerney is on that. But
Good man. We know him.
and so I just wanted to get my comments in. We must remove this. No matter how you feel about Romney, we have to remove Obama. And if we can't get him for treason in the next 11 days, then we get him out with the vote.
All right. Thank you very much, Neil, for
Thank
your
you.
service and your insight into all of this. And tell your friends out in California to watch. And if you are driving in the car, you can download do it before you drive. The application iHeartRadio. Go to WNN in South Florida, and you can listen to us from 12 to 3 in sunny California. What part of California are you in, Neil?
I'm in North San Diego County.
Okay, yeah. We were, our sister organization, the United West, we were at UCSD last year confronting about 300 Muslim jihadi students on campus. That's another story for another day.
story
But
itself,
thanks a
yeah.
lot, Neil. And who do we have on the line next?
He's actually on another call right
He's
now.
actually
Okay.
on another call.
So,
Your thoughts, Mark, on Neil's...
well, it's my thoughts are we have Roger on the line. Okay, we'll go to another call. We'll clear some of these calls for people.
Okay, hello, Roger.
Hello, Tom. How are you?
Hey, how you
Hi, Mark,
doing?
CJ.
Hey,
Hi
how
there.
you doing?
I wanted to dial in, okay, on the subject of Romney. Okay, I won't mention which Romney office it is, but they're really out there working hard and contacting a lot of people. Okay.
Well, first of all, Roger, what's your thoughts on this whole Benghazi thing and your thoughts on what just happened?
Well, Benghazi, okay, is just a farce. I just cannot believe that they that what the stories have come out, okay, and that they've just not they've not. I'm sorry for stumbling on my words here. I was thinking of something else when I dialed in.
Well, let's do this. Let's go with what you were thinking of, and then we'll move into whatever. What did you call for?
Well, I wanted to dial in and let you know, okay, that the Romney offices are out there dialing like crazy and making contact with a lot of people. Just one office that I'm familiar with has made over 580,000 calls since June 18th.
Whoa.
My goodness.
Oh, man.
Wow.
950 volunteers. They're saying that back in June, only 1 out of 15 people were answering the phones or answering questions with reference to who they would support, et cetera. Now they're getting 1 answer out of every 4.
Really?
By again, not specific numbers on this particular tally, but they're getting like a 60-40 split in favor of Romney. So if that's any indication as to what's happening in Florida, then Romney is going to carry Florida from what I can see in everyone that I'm speaking to. The office that I'm familiar with, okay, they have the most phones in the nation. That's close to 100 phones that are dialing.
Wow.
Roger, are those calls to registered voters or independent voters or likely voters or
registered?
Who's being called?
Voters. Yeah, they're registered voters, as I have been told.
Okay, very
I
good.
don't-
Hey,
I don't have
Roger.
anything-
This is Stormy Activist Friday here on Trento Vision.
Yes.
You're in Florida?
Yes, I am.
What part of Florida?
I'm in Central Florida.
Is it
Okay,
stormy
yeah,
up there? Is it stormy up there?
Yeah, it's not raining at this particular moment, okay, but we had some pretty heavy downpour before. So
Well, let me tell our listeners who are all over the country. This is Tom Trento Vision with J. Mark Campbell and CJ. It's 44 minutes past the hour on the 26th of October. We're on WNN 1470. If you're driving in an automobile and you're just tuning in, going, who are these people? Well, we used to be on the 2 to 3 hour every day for a couple of months, but we switched to 3 to 6 drive time because we love you so much, you South
By
Florida.
overwhelming popular demand.
Yeah, by you South Florida drivers.
More
So
Tom Trento.
yeah, right. So we're 3 to 6 drive time with you, and our focus is national security. We analyze and investigate these issues, and then give you our unfair and unbalanced. We're advocates for a particular, very conservative.
Actually, we're actually overly fair.
Yeah, we're overly fair. Conservative, patriotic perspective. That's what we do. If you disagree with us, we invite you to discuss this with us. We're not crazy people by any means, but you gotta know what you're
maybe a
talking
little
about.
bit.
Yeah, a little bit. You gotta know what you're talking about, and we'll handle you with kid gloves. And on Fridays, we have been kind of focusing in on activism, how people, what they're doing, and what others can do to participate in truly changing history. So, Roger, we know you. You're a friend of ours, and can you give the listeners and viewers 1 or 2 quick points? Got about a minute as to what people can do. You're a hard grunt worker out there. What can people do to really impact this election?
talk to their friends, okay, and make sure that people are getting out there to vote. If they have time, they can volunteer to find a local office, okay, that's in support of Romney, and try to volunteer some time. Those are excellent things that they can do. If they speak to any Democrats, okay, or someone who's not in favor of Romney, remind them it's important for them to vote on November 7th.
That's a good point.
And also the blogging and everything like that. Get online, get on Facebook, start getting involved. If you just have like an hour or two in the evenings or something like that, get involved.
And it's very important to be knowledgeable and comfortable about the issues and your opinions on the issues, because if people are truly undecided and they're interested in talking about the election, the first question you should ask them is, okay, well, what's your main issue? What is of most concern to you? And if they say, well, it's healthcare, or well, it's the economy, or it's national security, or whatever it is, you've got to be able to go in there and give a 1-2 punch with 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 talking points of why Obama has to go just based on that issue.
And it's beyond
if
the
you
talking
can do
points.
that,
when I first-
you're good to go everywhere, in line at Starbucks or at the bagel shop or wherever you are and people are talking about the election. You've got to be able to jump in there and say why this doesn't
And
work
I have a
as
great idea.
policy.
If you're driving in your car and you're pulling up the car and you see an Obama sticker next to you, roll down the windows, turn up the station as loud as you can, and blast them out.
Oh yeah, turn us up. That'd be good. And
Yeah, we need to
And make
get
them
some.
uncomfortable.
And you
Make
can-
them uncomfortable.
and you could point to 1470
Say
with
I was gonna say-
1470
one of
if
your
you-
with one of your
yeah.
fingers.
Well, we
your,
are having.
your index finger.
We're gonna have some
to it.
bumper stickers made
There's a lot
up.
of
Okay.
communication going on in finger talk between cars on the road.
We need
so
little
everyone should
sock
be able to-
puppets for the fingers.
I don't think that's a finger talk he was talking about
No,
there.
no. We'll keep it.
Okay,
Keep
you
it
guys.
nice,
All
keep
right,
it
all right.
nice.
Stormy Friday here. Let's keep,
Keep it
things
nice.
on the.
Yeah.
That's what
If
they
you
do. We
mind,
don't do
okay,
that.
when I first got on, you sort of threw me off track. I was looking at what I wrote down what I wanted, those numbers that I wanted to convey with reference to the Romney support offices. And so when you asked me that question, I went, ooh, I did a
No,
lot
you
of
did
that.
fine.
you did
Don't
fine.
worry
You did
about
fine.
it.
You did fine.
Yeah.
But with regard to the Benghazi thing, okay, there were two things that came to my mind immediately. Okay, there's been an awful lot of reports, okay, and mostly from Fox. The other stations are just not carrying it. I listened to MSNBC for over an hour, and they just didn't touch the subject. Okay, they've left it alone. But there's communications that they've obtained that say that there have been a number of requests that went out asking for help from the embassy, and they were denied.
Yeah,
Okay, people were told to stand down. Okay, and that subject alone, Obama, just because of what he has done and his administration has responded, he should not be given a second term with reference to that. And secondly, okay,
He should go to jail.
Biden, okay, I mean,
Lied.
this man should have a lobotomy done and just have his brain removed or whatever portion of it there is left. He went up to Mr. Woods, one of
What's
the
the name?
Carol.
the father, okay, and of one of the SEAL team members that were killed in Benghazi. And I can't believe what he said to him. He walked up, and can I use the quote here? I mean, you're on.
We already heard it.
Roger, you obviously
yeah, you
missed.
tuned in late.
You tuned in late,
You missed
obviously.
I did. Okay.
Yeah,
You missed.
but thanks for reiterating our talking points.
You,
Yeah, but I just can't believe that guy. I mean, this is supposed to be.
And that's been
Vice
reported in the
President of
news,
The United
yeah.
States. Okay, you'd get fired from your job if you held any kind of a capacity with any company at all, and you spoke to someone like that. You would lose your position simply because you can't represent your company.
Well,
in a way, it's a bad image for your company, let alone your country.
well,
Exactly.
this is government jobs, though. It's really hard to get fired
hang
from
on,
a
hang on,
government
hang on,
job.
hang on. All right, Roger, thank you very, very much. Keep listening, tell your friends, and we're going to say goodbye to Roger and hello to Carol. Hello, Carol. You're on with Tom and everybody else on this
Everybody's
stormy
weighing-in day.
Stormy Activist Friday. Hi, Carol.
Hi, I just want to thank you so much for all the wonderful things that you do for
Where are you
all
from,
of
Carol?
us. And I saw the speaker last night, Caroline Glick, was the most compelling speaker I've ever heard in my life. She speaks from the heart and soul, and she's honest and tells it the way it is. She's so brave and courageous. What do you think?
Well, I think you have such a good point that in our second hour, we're going to. We were there last night. The three of us, Mark, CJ, myself, we went to Boca Raton Synagogue because we had Carolyn Glick on the show earlier in the day. We went there and listened, and our conclusions are just what yours are, Carol. So you stay tuned. We're going to take a break in a little while. We'll be back about 4 or 5 after. And we're going to go
Then we have
through
pages and pages of
in
notes.
detail. We're going to go through in detail
Yeah.
what Carolyn Glick said, which is extremely important. And for those of you just tuning in, you're with Tom Trento, Trento Vision, Mark and CJ. Carol's on the phone. We're talking about Carolyn Glick. And the best way, so that you can stay with us at the top of the hour, Carolyn Glick is a woman of much accomplishment, but she was an advisor to Benjamin Netanyahu about 15 years ago after she finished a deployment in the Israeli Defense Forces. She's a graduate of Columbia, graduate of Harvard. She's a scholar, a warrior, an advisor, and she had a message for America yesterday, and I'll just tease you guys with this.
Yikes.
She used in her talk last night the scary, scary non-Halloween term of Armageddon. Armageddon. So we're going to deal with global Armageddon in our second hour. We'll go through Carolyn's information. We'll take more calls then. Carol, thank you very much for calling, and we appreciate what you do, too, and tell your friends to listen.
And,
I certainly will. Thank you, Tom.
Okay, you take care. Bye-bye. Yeah, Mark?
and while you go on the break, for those of you who are online, we're going to stop the stream and start it back up. So we have a break on it, so don't go away. And if you want to keep this show online, please hit that donate button up there in the upper right-hand corner and pledge $1 million.
Yes.
And
love
we'll
that.
send you a bumper sticker.
I'll send you.
I'll send
No,
you
let's do
bumper
this.
stickers for
I have
your
an idea.
friends,
I have an
too.
idea. I have an idea. For every donation under 500, you get an Obama bumper sticker. For every donation over, we'll come and we'll wax your car for you. How about that? You know, if you want the three of us to personally wax your car,
That's right.
$500.
Bring your
donation.
car down to the radio station.
Yep.
Bring
And-
your check. We'll wax your car. We'll put that bumper sticker on for you, and then
will
we'll go
do
out
that.
and have a glass of wine. How does that sound?
Because we will win this election. We're here to hold your hand, not to hold your hand. We're here to blow the clarion or the shofar, to blow the shofar, blow the clarion, blow the trumpet, and lead everybody into victory on November 6th. But the sun will rise on November 7th, and the bad guys will be lining up at the borders, and our work doesn't end on November 6th by any means. So we need to
That's
to be
right.
here, and this is a very strategic
That's right.
place. I was producing a video once, a corporate video, years and years and years ago, and it was an insurance company, and the script said the guy had to say strategic. He could not. The owner of the company could not say the word. And ladies and gentlemen, we have a strategic. It was like George Bush almost. Strategery.
Right.
But we are strategically placed right here at the world headquarters of Beasley Broadcasting, WNN.
Ground zero.
1470 on your dial, and we're also broadcasting on the internet. Trento Vision, my name Vision, Trento Vision, it's that television, obviously.
Yes.
TrentoVision.tv, and you can listen wherever you are on the planet. If you can get a phone signal and a little smartphone, get that application called iHeartRadio, 3 to 6 every day. Tell your friends. The top of the next hour we're going to deal with more activism issues, the global Armageddon that's coming. We're going to analyze the newspapers who they're now sponsoring. You're going to be flipped out of your mind. We got a bunch of callers, people coming on, all kinds of things going on. We will see you folks. Well, you know what? We're not going to leave yet. You had something to say, Mark? You had about.
You
got 30 seconds each. 30 seconds
my
each.
quick observation
My
is
eye
this.
is on the clock,
In
Joe.
case you have any doubt that we are at the center of the universe here, if the universe is infinite, wherever you are at the center. So right here at WNN, we are the center of the universe here in Boca
Mark,
Raton.
15 seconds.
I yield my time to the gentleman from New Jersey.
I yield my time. I have to work
Well,
here.
I will end this segment.
He's putting his sneakers on.
I will end this segment by simply saying that the Obama, Hillary, and Panetta have an obligation to know. It's part of their job description. I'll tell you about that later. Right now, we're going to end this hour. We'll see you in just a few minutes.